Shut up and sit down. Okay, and welcome to Cactus Talks. Today's topic is vegetative training and the technique that has revolutionized training of athletes in all kinds of sports. Today's guest is Inge Jarl Clausen, who is an expert on this topic. Can you tell us about yourself in simple manners?
Yeah, I'm Norwegian. I lived in Norway for 40 years plus, and then I moved to Germany. In Norway, I get to know a kind of a tradition inside psychology and medicine, which looked at how experiences of life got imprinted in the organism, characterized everything. And this tradition then also had a way to use the organism's own self-regulative movement to improve all functions. And they have about 70 years experience with building a new body and a new life. And this tradition, I was busy with in Norway for many years, and then decided to go out in the world and test it a little bit against what was available in the sports industry.
Can you tell us about a little bit about the origin of this technique? Wilhelm Reich, did he has any part of it?
Yeah. This is based on vegetotherapy. As Wilhelm Reich, he did like Darwin said, you have to look at the human as one organism, not like today's medicine, which is divides in part, or not as traditional psychology, which is only top down. So Reich looked at the whole system and was very interested in how experiences of life characterize the vegetative system, which they called that time, which is the adaptive structure, hormone, immune, autonomous nervous systems. And from this, he looked at the newborn baby. I could see that there is some movement, restorative movements always going on. He defined this as the biological life of the organism. Mm-hmm. And this you can see when the baby lays on the back. And it's very connected to three things. It's connected to the breathing. How much can I breathe? It's connected to movement and connected to relational experiences. And this is together a concept which was come to Norway with Wilhelm Reich in the 1939. And then, now I'm in 1936, and then later developed into different tradition in Norway, and was like a golden age of complex system understanding in the world was in Norway from the mid-40s until late 70s, 80s.
I think actually it was 34 Reich came to Norway and left in 39, yes.
Yeah.
So you work with different athletes all around the world, and how does this work out? I mean, well, first tell us about some of your favorite athletes you have been working with, or favorite, but...
Yeah, let's say that in the, like 8 years ago, I was invited to one team in a Premier League to Everton, because the medical scientist there, the boss of medical, he was very interested in something different. And then I came there, and I had the medical team first in therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't. And then Yeah, that's what, and they didn't pay me anything. I even had to pay the travel and staying and everything. But that's how it is in the beginning. So then after 5 days, they were flying, like boom, boom, boom. And it was really because with the method, if you haven't experienced it, really, it kicks the energy system in movement. It happened so many interesting things. One of them had problem getting a baby. She got pregnant later. Also many things happened, and they were just flying there. And then they had two players, which more or less, one of them they given up. This guy they bought for £60,000. It's nothing from one team in Ireland. The other guy was the eldest one in the team. And then I start working with them every day for 2 weeks. They both come back in the training, and the coach, that time, David Moyes, he was just in shock at what's happening here. They were flying, and everybody said, what kind of self-confidence change? Then they put one of these guys, Seamus Coleman, back into the team, and he scored 5 goals in the next 9 matches and become man of the match in the 5 of the 8. So he was just flying on the pitch.
Yeah. I remember he became the left wing and left back player of the year that year.
Yeah.
He
was right wing. Yeah. So he went from a value of £60,000 to 20 million in half a year. From there, I went to Manchester City. They also gave me some guys they have given up, and some serious hamstring injuries and long-lasting knee problems. And it started with one of them, boom, boom. We found out that emotion is everything. How I feel about my life is regulating how much I can use of my organism. And it's not today, it usually happened very long time ago. And underneath this is the pulse of the biological vitality, trying to find optimal. And this is connected to aggression, also suppressed aggression. So this guy and suppressed aggression goes down in the lower back, tightens up the hamstring and the glutes. And in the first session, he's coming in. He can almost not walk. He has a limping. He can't sleep in the night, medicine. After the first session, it comes up. He lays there. What's your problem? I ask him in the human basic position. He said, yeah, it was some personal thing. He was angry about something. I can't go into detail, but something really not happy about, some jealousy and things. And then boom, the whole big bulb he had under there, which was a kind of emotional response to the suppressed aggression, his ability to say no, it just vanished. Woof. It took 45 minutes. He could stand up, and he went up and he could sleep. But I had 2 weeks contract, so I continued with him. Then what happened? The wisdom teeth came out because he was a little bit unmature. He came back in the team, scored his first 3 goals for Manchester City in his career, was qualified for the national team, and went to Brazil. Then they give me 3 other players, long-lasting, same, blah, blah, blah. And all these 3 other guys happened the same. They also got qualified for the national team. Later for the English national team, and one of them for this Côte d'Azur. So from there, I went to Tour de France. I went to some cycling team in Switzerland, worked with them. I met Daniel Martin for the first time, which is now riding today in the Giro.
Yeah, this is the guy from Israel?
No, yeah, Israel Startup Nation. He's from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I met him in the Tour de Suisse. I looked at him. If you haven't tried this method, it's very difficult to explain, because suddenly the whole body starts shaking. The restorative power, whoa, 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 and you jump, and he.
It's a release, right?
Yeah, tremendous release and restoration of old stress and everything. So I worked with him for 5-6 days. He went straight after to Tour de France and won his first stage in Tour de France. He won on this etape, on the 9th etape, against Jakob Fuglsang. He beat Jakob there. Later, I contacted Jakob and said, okay, you know, Daniel had another method. And then I started working with the Fuglsang, and then he transformed fully.
Impressive.
So the thing is here, it's like you do the work. You just activate processes in the organism that limits your vitality and feeling of freedom.
But you do this by breathing techniques, or?
Yeah. I look at you, I see body fat distribution, I see the history. If we can accept that my life does something to my body, my organism.
Yeah.
Also, something happened in the belly of mama. And this is interesting because the stress profile of the organism, that's really how much negative expectation do I have of the future is my stress profile. Yeah. So how easy is it for me to have a good future? How paranoid am I, you know?
It's hard in this society right now not to be paranoid, though.
Yeah. But okay, in the belly of mama, the little growing thing can feel the stress of mama through the blood, through the heart regulation. Bam, bam, bam. When this stress coming into the growing organism, which is independent, only have food and support, when it's a lot of stress coming in there, it has to compensate in some way. Have to crunch to put things different. And if it's a lot of stress through mama, it gets the same stress profile inside the body as mama. And this stress profile is the range of all the defense systems. Everything happening there. Let me close the door here. It's too noisy. So the method goes all the way back to before you were born. And it's yourself regulated because it's a complex system. If we touch or manipulate, it will go wrong. But it's hard work. You have to learn that to heal, you have to feel the shit.
Yeah. But,
and most of it are hidden. Many believe that they had a happy childhood, but this is just an illusion to protect that it was very dramatic.
Yeah.
And my range of social behavior is programmed maybe in the first 3 to 6 months, or maybe before.
Yes, I can see that. But I also think traumatic experiences can make you have another ability. It can release something in you, like a spiritual thing, because of the stress you're in, and maybe you have to get it released, and then well, it will become a spiritual.
Let's say it in another way, that I need to re-experience the traumatic thing to bring, when I do this in the human basic position, which I haven't talked anything about, it's why like the little baby lays, is only there, this is my opinion, that we can start deep restoration and build a new body. It has to do with when I standing up, whole autonomic system, everything worked like shit to keep me standing. There is no building up, no restoration because of gravitation. Our organism has been on 4 legs for the last millions of years, adapted to regulation in a horizontal position. So if I want to have a deep restoration, it's not enough with talking. I have to go down and feel what's coming up. It's like this. Every time I'm laying down, the deep feeling, which has regulated everything, try to come up. And then when I start to sense what unconsciously happened to my body, the first time the brain really can do something, then the brain can regulate from top down what is not feels good, and it does it automatically in this position.
So laying down is really healthy for you, really?
Yeah, in this position, in the human basic restorative position, we can...
Can you describe this position? Like...
Yeah, you're laying on the back with the knees 90 degrees planted in the ground, like a little baby.
Okay.
And then it happens. And this has been the base of Wilhelm Reich and the tradition from Bergen, this self-regulated based vegetotherapy. And it's like, if we can imagine, there are three things important for the human organism, for everybody of us. And let's say one of them is breathing. Another one is movement. We need to move. And the third is relational experiences. And if we look at these three things as the basic condition for the organism, breathing, movement, and relational experiences, safety, and these kind of things, then we can wonder what they're doing today.
Yes, exactly. That was what my thought too. As like wearing these masks and outdoor even, it's cannot be healthy at all.
No, it's, and the one thing, if just a little sidestep there, any regulation of the breathing frequency is not so much about the oxygen and carbon dioxide, it's about, it signals to the body fear. When the organism is in a threat modus, the immune system starts to burn up. The immune system is like a tank. We fill up with some amino acids and they get burned up because when it's the threat, the organism thinks injury and it starts an infection in the body. So if I go with this mask a long time, I get sick.
Incredible. How it can
and
be
then
legal,
if I stop, and then maybe the most important thing for many, especially young people, is losing relational experiences, because this is what growth for the child is about. But okay, that's another topic. It's a catastrophe what they're doing, but it's all based in reductionistic medicine. They don't look at breathing, movement, or relational experiences. These three things are explicit eliminated in the biomedical model, taken away. Boom.
And connection, I mean, this social distancing thing is also not doing people any well.
It's very dangerous. That is one of the most dangerous things, because if I don't have social interaction, meaningful life, I'm in isolation, my organism will go down, program down. Okay, I can, as an independent human, stay on an island for myself, but you know, how fun is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so but back to the sports. It's what I was trying to find out, what do they have in the sports industry? Because they're supposed to have the best medical science in the world. You know, it's how can we improve? Yeah, and what I found out, they only have doping and bullshit. Yeah, and the doctors, I'm not criticizing the doctors in a way, because there are very many good-hearted doctors around. But if they're honest, they can say they are helpless. They really cannot help. And in the sports industry, I'm sorry, what they do. And I think it's time to say that 90% of what they do have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is physio, massage, electro, medicine, bam, bam. All these things just increase tension in the body. Every time I'm getting a massage, electric organism things, attack, attack, attack. So, and then what's happening? Yeah, injuries never goes away, but that's good for business.
It's not good for the team.
Yeah, it's not good for the team, and it's not good for the player, and the investors are being fucked. But that's what they haven't learned anything else.
Some change in the way of the doctors are thinking is absolutely needed. That is my opinion too.
Yeah, I think for me, or like Kjell Standal in Bergen said, we have to start to defy the doctors now.
Yeah.
Defy them, because their mission and conscience or not is to lay a foundation for more injury. Yeah. Most of what they do have the opposite effect. Yeah. It has to have the opposite effect when you use one finger and put it in a complex system, only thinking one way. That's unidirectional reductionism. One way. It must be compensation and chaos in the system, in a complex system. But this is good for business, you know, for the reductionistic business.
Yeah. They have even taken away the oath of Hippocrates in Norway. And there's really good reasons why, because it does not support what's going on in the world right now, because the pharmaceutical is really controlling everything.
Yeah. I mean, they have done it all the time. It's nothing new, and the horror of it is like, if we think about medical ethics, you know, this talking about medical ethics, if we know that medicine eliminate the effect of feeling, life experiences, they hate complexity. Yeah. And if I translate this to some kind of political realities, what kind of political realities hates feeling, empathy, complexity, a variation in the society? Okay, then we see that maybe medical ethics is just like a fascist talking about empathy and how important it is to have variation in society. And that's the horror of it, if we translate it into another language, but maybe we shouldn't talk so much about it.
But we can talk a little about your project now. You talked about this post-Giro rider you're having. Are you in contact with them daily, or?
Yeah. I see. I work with one rider now in the Giro, and this year it's now been 10 stages, and several have said this is one of the hardest ever because of the bad weather and the preparations and everything. But I can tell you that I got a message from him without saying the name. And he uses the method himself because he's learned how to fully restore the body in 35 minutes after the races. He can still smile. So he sent me here yesterday, because yesterday was the rest day, a little message, and it's a little bit funny. Good morning, Inge. How are you? Feeling really good here. Everybody is commenting how fresh I look. I wonder why. I'm smiling every day in this peloton, nobody else.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, interesting. And the thing is that the riders or the athletes, the way this model here works is they learn to take more, what's the name in English now? To be more independent of everybody else. They become their own coaches. They take more responsibility for their life. They learn to use this method themselves. And my target is to make them independent of me.
Yeah, that's
so they
good.
can. Yeah, and this is the opposite of many learning systems, you know,
Yeah.
where it's about just you do, especially here in Germany, where it's very top down.
Yeah.
And then I see this also when I'm traveling around. Now I don't work so much for the teams anymore because we work private. It's a little bit complex situation. I'm coming into the team and see 90% what they do harm the players.
Yeah.
And then I get home to them and they feel safe. And we use the method at home, and then comes up the real problems. Because in sports today, it's not what's happening in the training that is important. It's what's happening in the social life. How is my relation to my wife, to my kids? What are the things happening outside? Is this load I'm carrying into my professional life? And this decides everything. This has so far not been a part of any sports thinking. It's coming. They know it's important, but they don't have any method to working with it.
I thought they had psychologists working with them.
Yes, psychologists can do a lot good, make people more aware, but it's not enough. Because if I talk too much about the problem, then activating many memory systems in the organism. And when it's too many memory systems active, it cannot heal. Instead, I'm getting more sick. I can risk to start really to feel what the problem is because I'm sitting, I cannot restorate. And many people start to get panic attacks if it's too much dualistic psychology.
Yeah. So if people are interested in these methods and techniques, we will leave links below in the description. So, and to get a hold of you, I hope really Jürgen Klopp will call you.
Yeah, it would be nice. He needs that now because the problem in his team is not him; it's the medical team. So every euro you invest in this old reductionistic medicine, it costs you 15 euro on the other side.
Yeah. So you don't have any? I heard you were in the Paris-Dakar race as well.
Yeah. I was together with a very famous Mexican rider. So we did first I was in Mexico working with him for a few weeks and did some races in the very interesting Coahuila, in the land of the cartels. It was very interesting. We had the escort from the Garda from the National Army protecting us when we were riding through the desert because it was on the border to Texas. Yeah, I went there. We started in Paraguay and then went to Argentina. It was the hardest thing I ever done in my life because we have to start in the morning therapy 3 o'clock. Then 5 o'clock the riders went off. We had to drive the car like shit to get to the next stage and be there when he came back at 5, 6. Sometimes we couldn't make it. Then I made session. And we were 4,000 or 5,000 meter height up in Bolivia. And we were living in a mudland. No, I wouldn't do it again. It was too much. I didn't sleep more than 2 hours every day for 3 weeks. It was too much.
I guess it's easier now. You could do it by Skype or in Zoom like we do.
Yeah, but it's not good enough.
No, I guess not.
Yeah. So he's been a little bit there work in India and a lot with some players in the Chile national team. Norway is a Norwegian guy from Holmlia who is been qualified for the Cuba national team in football.
Oh.
Yeah, he's coming on TV2 in a couple of days. And I had him in therapy because I worked a lot with Petter Northug.
Oh.
When he went down and also with some other ski guy like Didrik Tønseth. When he had an accident, he went on his head in Italy and couldn't trainer stopped, and then we had 4 or 5 sessions, and he was back again and got the gold in the Olympics.
It's quite the merits you have. I'm really impressed. I hope they pay you now.
Yeah, a little bit they do.
That's good to hear. Yes. Anything we have forgotten to talk about? I would really like to have you as a guest some other time as well. So if we find some topics.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here.
But for today, I think we have been at least given an introduction into vegetative training. And for those who are really interested, can check the links below this video. And yes,
they should know that the real magic of the method is only really understandable when we have tried it.
Yeah.
Because the organism works in so mysterious ways that what's happening really cannot be explained. We did a test with the Austrian national team in football when I came back from Manchester City. Because I have a student there, he's now the chef of the Austrian football team of sports science and medical science, Dr. Salinger. We made a book together in German. But we put the method into the team and worked with some key players, and then they won the Euro Cup qualification.
Yeah. Their group at least, yeah.
Yeah, and they went from the FIFA world ranking number 46 to 11 in 1 year.
Yeah, I noticed. Huh.
So it's possible to have improvement without touch, medicine, technology, but you have to do the work yourself. That's the difference. Nobody outside touching medicine, electro, all these things destroy self-regulation.
That's a good advice.
Yeah. Defy the medical doctors.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, enjoy the day. See you later.
You too, man.